Hey guys, welcome to Bird Brothers, two brothers in Ohio, lifelong Eagles fans. This is Cowboys week. We play the Dallas Cowboys at home in Philadelphia this week. Cooper Rush and company is coming to Philly. We are undefeated. We are 5-0. The Cowboys are 4-1,
Yeah.
which I am very surprised about. I'm very surprised about the Cowboys being 4-1. I'm also very surprised about the Giants, who are also 4-1, correct?
Yep.
I'm more surprised that the Giants are 4-1.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
it makes for an interesting year. NFC least to NFC beast, some are saying. I'm not really believing in the Giants, but anyways, let's talk about the Cowboys. I think we all know, but Ryan, what's your biggest concern coming into this game?
It's Cooper Rush. No, Michael Parsons. Cooper Rush has done exactly what he was expected to do. And that's just manage the game and don't lose it. Don't lose the game. You don't need to win it. Don't lose the game. But it's obviously Michael Parsons. Dude's a stud. Hate to say it, but in my opinion, he's the best edge rusher between him and TJ Watt in the league. That being said, people were hyping him up as if he's the only guy. If you compare stats from him and Hassan Reddick, they're very similar. I think he's done more, but he's also played more pass rush snaps. Parsons has than Reddick, but yeah, Parsons is a stud. He's going to be hard to defend. We're going to have to, I think, chip him a lot. Find ways to slow him down, run directly at him, and run the football. You can't sack the quarterback if you're just handing it off, because he's very versatile as well. So if we start to run the football, they're going to probably move him around to try to get him more involved, which will open up the passing. So I think basically we just need to game plan around Parsons. Lane Johnson's phenomenal. He hasn't given up a sack since 2020. I think week 6 of 2020. So
Did you see that on the herd?
I'm not honestly sure what I saw. I've seen it a few times throughout social media and stuff, but
I heard that on a Colin Cowherd interview, and I was like,
yeah, he's been phenomenal. Parsons is obviously the best guy he's going to face probably this entire year.
Perhaps his entire career.
Right, could be. And so I am a little worried about that. I hope that we're going to game plan for him and we don't just leave Lane on an island for 4 quarters, because it's a difficult task, obviously.
Does Parsons rush? I know what he's doing, like high level. I understand, like he's a beast, and the numbers, and I've watched him a little bit, but I don't watch Cowboys games. Pretty much just watch Eagles games. Does Parsons rush from all over, both sides? He's going to be on the left and the right.
He mostly goes from the left side, so he lines up as a left end, so you're going to go against our right tackle.
Yeah, he'll be mainly facing Lane Johnson.
He does move around a lot. He goes both sides, but I think the majority of his pass rush snaps are from the left side. But with Mailata coming back off the injury, maybe they switch him up. Maybe they go to that side more. It's hard to say. I did see we activated Dillard.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. So Dillard is an option as well if he either struggles or maybe isn't fully healthy. And then we have Driscoll. Driscoll's our number 3 tackle, man, and he played well. He's not obviously Mailata, but he doesn't be. He's our 3rd tackle. So
he would probably start on at least 1 or 2 teams in this league.
Yeah, for sure. He's played well,
he's the 3rd string.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're fully healthy. Maddox, I think, is back. Slay's fully healthy. They kept some guys out. I think it's just like a precautionary, or a rest. Like there were a lot of guys limited on Thursday's practice. So I think one of the guys is Kelsey. He obviously left last week. So did Dickerson. So did Sayamalu. But they all seem to be healthy. They all took some rest. So I think everybody's a full go. But yeah, Parsons is definitely the biggest fear. I'd be lying.
What? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous for this game. Um, their defense is good. Uh, their biggest question mark is going to be their offense with Cooper Rush. Can they score points? Um, and can their defense slow down? A fully powered, healthy team. I don't know. We'll see. The Rams are not the Rams we saw last year. They lost offensive linemen. It's basically just or not Cooper Rush, Cooper Cup, just playing by himself out there. Higbee looked okay, but Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, their run game is non-existent. And I would say that's probably the Cowboys' biggest weakness is their run defense. So
Yeah,
thankfully, that's our biggest strength. So
right. So we'll talk about that mitigating Parsons, which I believe is the key to beating the Cowboys.
yeah, absolutely.
I would say on the offensive side of the ball, mitigate Parsons, which we'll get into. But I want to ask you a question about Parsons. And then from the defensive side of the ball, I would say, what do we need to do to beat the Cowboys? If I'm Jonathan Gannon, I'm stopping the run.
Yeah,
And I will let Cooper Rush throw at our corners all day. I want him to beat us man to man, zone, mixing it up. I want Cooper Rush to be the reason that we lose to the Cowboys. And if he comes out and plays like Tony Romo, for example, like some nobody that was an undrafted free agent and actually, makes some Pro Bowls,
right.
then so be it. But stop the run on defense. And then on offense, they do have some other talented players. They do. Their defense is good. DeMarcus Lawrence is legit.
Yeah,
Trayvon Diggs, while you and I have had like conversations about how legit is he, he's a good corner. He's
yeah,
and he makes a lot of plays, splash plays, impactful plays. So they're talented on defense. That's good. We're talented on offense too. The biggest thing is mitigating Parsons. So before we talk about how to do that or what I hope to see, what do you think makes Micah Parsons so special?
man. He's got this. I mean, he's got like a obviously outside of athleticism. You go off like a mental thing. He's got this like mentality that like almost like everyone's out to like doubt him or like he's got a chip on his shoulder. The way he talks, very very some say cocky, but well, I mean he backs it up. He's a guy that you hate because he's a Cowboy, but like if he's on your team, you love him. It's kind of the Gardner Johnson, just jaws at you, gets players in trouble. You hate it, but if it's on your team, you love it. So, um, yeah, he's got a motor, man, and the fact that he can drop into coverage, he can play middle linebacker, play your Sam, go to the edge. He's been flipped inside. They do some stunts with him, like just a freak, man. I mean, all around crazy athlete, and you pair it with a mentality where he thinks he needs to prove something constantly. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. He is probably, and if you're watching, comment below. People who have been football fans for a long time, like let me know who else has kind of struck this chord with you. But for me, like he's the closest thing to Lawrence Taylor
Yeah,
that I can think of. I mean, Lawrence Taylor, that was a little bit before my time, but I
yeah,
love football, so I went back and watched. And man, he made the left tackle position important.
right.
It wasn't even a big deal or as big of a deal prior to Lawrence Taylor ripping around the edge and just knocking the ball out of quarterback's hands, sacking them, just destroying game plans. Micah Parsons is like special, man. We had a chance to draft him,
Yeah,
uh, which I think you might see a little bit of a trend just to kind of go off here for a moment. Mike Parsons was a linebacker. He was a defensive end in high school, 5-star prospect, went to Penn State, became a linebacker. Um, didn't play his last year of college due to COVID and came out, ran like a 4.3,
right.
like 230 some pounds as a linebacker. They got in a pinch. He started playing edge, and this is where they really reap the rewards. Like, oh, you can rush the passer like this. Well, on some smaller scale, you see the same thing happening with Baron Browning
Yeah,
and from Ohio State, 5-star prospect, playing linebacker at Ohio State. Didn't do much special. I think 3rd round pick. athleticism.
Yeah.
They put him on the edge to rush. I see this with Kyron Johnson on the Eagles, our 6th-round pick from Kansas, 4.4 speed. Like, you've seen some like players be converted to tight end, quarterbacks to tight end, different kind of conversions you look for. We might see a trend in that. Looking for that athletic, long linebacker. Can we convert him to an edge rusher in pass rush situations? So yeah, I think, dude, 4.3 speed, man. He's faster than Jalen Hurts. Like he might be faster than Devontae Smith in a straight line. I don't know what Devontae Smith runs a 40 in. I don't know who would win that race striding like 60 yards, but it's unbelievable.
Yep.
And force plus acceleration. I mean, so much speed, so much force, athleticism, quick twitch, strength. But he's also going up against a really, really good pair of tackles.
Yeah.
And Mailata is
In
inexperienced, but he's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, I mean, definitely the best he's faced this year. Maybe best he's faced yet so far in his career. If you look at both. I hope Mailata is fully healthy. Okay, he's going to go on Mailata's side. He doesn't stay on one side, but he does rush usually. Majority of his rushes are from the left side, but I'm excited to see it, man. I'm a little nervous that we're not going to game plan correctly for him, and we're just kind of no, we're not going to change everything because one guy, which you have to. I mean, he's a literally the definition of a game wrecker.
We're going to talk about that.
I mean, he literally, so similar stat lines, like I said, to Hassan Reddick, but yeah, he's a game wrecker. He's a guy that could potentially knock 2 balls, 3 balls out of Hurts' hand, change the game, put Dallas in excellent scoring position where Cooper Rush doesn't have to be a playmaker. He just has to hand the ball off, make a couple slant throws. So I hope we do game plan for him. I hope it's not just we're sticking to our guns. And I hope we just run the ball. I don't think they can stop us, period, if we run the ball. I don't know that anyone can, honestly. Like, it's when you have that solid of a line, Jason Kelce leading it, I think it's very difficult to stop. So that's what my wish is for. Just game plan for Parsons. I'm not afraid of Trevon Diggs as far as the talent we have at receiver. We just have to place the ball. The guy, he is a ball hawk. He seems to be in the right place at the right time, where when the ball's tipped, underthrown, overthrown, like receiver falls down, he's in the area for the interception. So,
yeah,
some of it is luck, some of it is him just being in the right place.
Yeah, but to touch on that, man, when you get to that level, the details matter more and more and more and more and more. Everybody's talented, but the details matter so much, little details. So like playing angles, I couldn't even begin to talk about it, but I could imagine that playing corner in the NFL, understanding how your zones are syncing up, understanding route combinations, understanding angles, all this has to do with being in position, right? Like, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to get him out of here, but I want to talk more about running the football. I think that's the big key to this week, especially. I think that's the best way to mitigate Parsons. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, for sure, man.
By the way, we've got this one. He'll be 2 in March, and he's saying, E-A, E-A, Eagles.
That's a hard one to teach, man.
Hey, say Eagles.
He's camera shy.
All right, puppers. Go get mama. Here. Go get mama. Hey, mama. Luca's coming to get you. He came in the office. Go get mama. Go get mama. Okay, so let's talk about I'll just say, and you can play off of this. I think that we talked about earlier. How do you mitigate Parsons? Like, first of all, I don't want to see it happen with the screen game.
Yeah, I don't at
How
all.
do you mitigate pressure and blitzes? Like, oh, well, throw screens. Sometimes, yeah,
Occasionally, sure.
but I would
But
rather run straight at them because the screens are good, but I want that to be like plan B or C.
yeah,
I want to run the football. Micah Parsons is very athletic, fast around the edge, can make impactful plays. He's also an undersized linebacker.
yeah,
He's also a very undersized defensive end. So if you go five wide and you try to spread them out, that's like how he eats.
yeah,
That's how he makes plays. If you bring in two tight ends, or maybe even just have three wide receivers, but have Dallas Goedert on the line blocking, and you're being physical and you're going north south. That's not his game. He might be adequate at it. He might be pretty good at that too, but that's not his biggest strength. When you make
right,
Parsons do that, it's like taking that basketball player who can't drive to his left.
right.
Like if you let him play, if you let him drive to his right, he's like the best player in the league. But if you can just get him to go to his left, like he's average. So I imagine that's how you would mitigate Parsons, but running right at him. And we have
Yeah,
all the tools to do it, man. So I have that same kind of I think Sirianni does a pretty good job.
yeah.
Um,
Thus far, he has. I wasn't super happy last week about our game planning.
yeah.
Just 'cause I didn't think their pass rush was going to be a problem. I and they kind of people talked about they would probably bring blitzes to get pressure, which is fine. And if you think that's going to happen, I'm okay with a screen here and there, but we can't throw 7, 8 screens, and they're all pretty much the same screen. So I hope we don't get to that. It's almost like a cop out, like just we'll just throw screens. We're just gonna line up a bunch of bubble screens and throw those all day. So I hope not. I hope we run the ball. I think to beat Parsons, we need to run the ball directly at him, um, and just have short route combinations, like quick route combinations. Get the ball out quick. It gets Hurts in a rhythm. Um, I think that's our best bet. Outside of Trevon Diggs, I don't. Their defense has played better than I thought it would. I'll say that. Like I'm not, but I still don't have. I'm not scared of Trevon Diggs. If you line him one on one up with Devontae or AJ Brown, I don't think he can cover them all game. I think they're going to eat if they line him up on an island. So that would be I want to see short route combinations. No 5-step drops early on. Don't let Parsons get full head of steam, and just get the ball out quick and run it, and just literally take him out. I'll not take. He's not ever going to be taken completely out of the game, but it takes 70% of what he does out of the game if you just get the ball out quick. I mean, we've seen it as Eagles fans where we feel like we're not getting pressure, but they're just literally as soon as he plants his back foot, the ball's out. Out routes, quick slants. It's frustrating because you're taking your best, maybe your best asset out of the game.
Yep.
So hopefully that's what we do. Hopefully that's what they see on tape and they game plan that. And the hype of Cowboys isn't, too much, or sometimes people can get a little crazy, change their game plan, get overconfident or overzealous, and hopefully that's not the case. I
Get
hope
out of
we,
character.
yeah, just come out level headed,
Themselves.
and don't worry about what they are. Slow Parsons down and run directly at them.
I think Jalen Hurts does a great job of that. You
Yeah,
know, as I've heard him say, it's never about the opponent.
yeah,
It's always about us. It's always about our execution. It's always about our preparation. It's not about the opponent.
yeah,
I think he lives and breathes that. So leadership matters, man. The majority of people need to have a standard set for them, and everything rises and falls on leadership.
yeah,
And I don't question Jalen's leadership. So I expect to beat them, and I expect it to be a good game because it's Cowboys Eagles.
yeah. It always is.
It's also in Philly. They also don't have their starting quarterback.
Yeah,
To be honest, we should beat them pretty handedly. Not saying that we're just light years beyond the Cowboys, and we're so much better. I'm not like irrational. The Cowboys are very good. They're very talented. Their defense is very good. Um, I think Zeke is past his prime.
Yeah.
Pollard's a very good running back. They got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. We got James Bradbury, Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We got a good pass rush. We're in Philly. We're undefeated.
Yeah.
Cowboys are coming to town. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts will show up as always, I think. But in regards to mitigating Parsons, we talked about the run game and we talked about offensive line. The running backs were obviously good. We were number one rushing in the NFL last year. We also got to factor in Hurts running because that's another play off of
Yeah.
the running game. Like, wow, we got this super strong offensive line and we're like too deep. We got a couple guys that can come in and fill in adequately if a guy goes down. Opeta, Driscoll, Jurgens played a little bit last week.
Dillard's now too.
Dillard. Dillard's probably the best backup we have on our team.
Yeah.
So our offensive line is super strong. Our running backs are good running behind that line. And then you got Jalen Hurts who can run. He's a threat to run. That's another play off of the running game. But I think that in regards to the passing game, like you said, getting rid of the ball quick, short route combinations, that's what Kyler did to us last week.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating. It's like you're trying to rush off the edge, boom, balls out. Tom Brady does this. Boom, balls out. Boom, balls out. Boom. Like you're trying to come after the guy, you're trying to blitz, boom, balls out. And it's like if you have a quarterback that can function like that, that's why Gannon doesn't want to blitz.
Right.
Because it's so hard to cover in the league. Here's my point. I think that's Jalen Hurts' biggest weakness right now. I think his biggest weakness and what I have not seen from his game consistently is the ability to handle pressure. And I mean like pass rush pressure, not like mental pressure. Like they're blitzing. They're bringing they're bringing 6. We have 5. They're bringing 7. We only have 5. Or just the pass rush in general. I have seen him move up in the pocket and like have a good sense for that backside pressure. But I have not seen the quick game. Is that a concern for you at all?
Yeah, it is. I honestly don't think it's him not being able to. I mean, it is in a sense, but I do wonder. I would assume he has full control of the offense. Audibles and things like that. I mean, I would assume that after last year being basically a secondary quarterback for most of the season, and then a full off season, and now we're almost we are 6 weeks in to the regular season. I would assume he has full control, but I also wonder if he maybe he's calling guys out, saying okay, like he points out, you see Kelsey calling guys out. They're bringing 6, we have 5. Maybe he's not opting for a hot route. Maybe he's not audible. You'll see him look at guys, but it seems like I saw multiple times where I'm like, okay, they're bringing pressure, and he would drop back, and it's like a 5-step drop, and we're running 15-yard, 20-yard, and it's like, man, we don't have time for that. I don't care how good your offensive line is. If they're bringing 7 people, we can't block them if they spread out well. So I think
maybe he's confident he can beat the blitz.
Right.
As he likes to say,
you're not better than Tom Brady. You know what I mean? You're not better than Tom Brady. You're not better than Peyton Manning. All these guys that successfully beat these things over the years, where they call out the mic, they call out who they think is blitzing, whatever, and then they hot route, the slot too, just like a drag route or a slant or just a 5-yard comeback, and they get the ball out quick. Or you see Tom Brady all the time, like grab Fournette and like pull him over to the other side. And I don't think that's a play, because he won't change anything else, but he'll grab Fournette and bring him to this side. And then what happens? They got 8 guys in the box. All of them look like they're coming, and then this guy comes. And it's just a matter of reading. I mean, we played, football. We played backyard, organized. Sometimes you can read people. People aren't good at disguising. Obviously, the NFL, they're probably all very, very good at it. disguising. But when you're playing backyard football, maybe this is how Brady feels. Maybe he can tell. You know what I mean? Like looking at guys, like okay, that guy's definitely coming. That guy's not. Like, but they're all like lined up, like they're ready to come. So we need stuff like that. I think, and that will improve with time. I mean, he's young. He doesn't have a ton of reps in the NFL yet. So I think that's maybe what he's doing is sticking with the game plan, maybe adjusting or calling out the mic, but not changing routes, which we need to do. I expect to see, uh, I expect to see big plays from Quez Watkins today because I don't think they're gonna. I think you're gonna see Trevon. I don't know that does he shadow guys?
I'm not real sure if he
I don't
shadows
think
or
he
not.
does. I don't know for sure, but I feel like he does, and I feel like maybe I've seen, you know, um, people talking about that, but I could be wrong. But um, yeah, I'm curious to see how they handle that because if he just stays on one side of the field, then you know, so be it. But I don't think they're going to have the speed to cover Quez. I think we could probably open up their defense a lot. Um, and even if Quez is just a decoy, use him to go down the field, it's a huge thing. But I expect to see that. I would like to see more Trey Sermon, just the physicality of that, just running the ball. I like Gainwell, but I don't like Gainwell and Boston Scott through the between the tackles. Um, I like Gainwell, like I've said it before on here. Like I like that he gets the full speed. He runs hard. He's shifty and he dances a little bit, but not he's not. Sometimes it's good to not have patience at the running back position. Sometimes you just got to go downfield and get 3-4 yards, and just hit the line explosive. And I like that about Trey Sermon. He's a little bigger, um, but yeah, that's my take on it, man. Like I said, I am a little nervous because they do have some playmakers. They got some studs, but we should beat them. On paper, you look at it, we should definitely handle them pretty. I don't want to say easily because it's an NFL team and they're pretty good. Um, but I don't think they should not be able to score with us, and our offense should not be held in check by them fully. The whole hype around the Rams. Go look at the Rams. If you didn't watch that game or you didn't watch tape on it, watch the Rams game. They don't look like the Rams. They don't look like. I mean, they haven't all year, not just that game, but they haven't looked good all year. So I'm curious what they do when they have a healthy offense that's firing on all cylinders. But again, it's always tough. But I love this in Philly, our first game. Um, I love that we seem to be healthy, and yeah, we'll see, man. It's gonna be an interesting one. Gonna be intense.
So, what do you know? What do you remember about Noah Brown, their wide receiver from Ohio
I
State?
remember I know he's been a decent part this year because they haven't had Michael Gallup. Um, he made some big splash plays at Ohio State. I remember some crazy one-handed grab. I think it was up for catch of the year. I don't think it won or anything like that, but it was like a one-handed grab where he like barely tapped like seemed like his like big toe just barely nicked the ground. He made some big splash plays, but overall he wasn't a huge prospect or anything like that. Um,
Yeah,
but was he their number 3 or 4? I think he's number 3.
yeah, it would be the number 3 behind Gallup because Gallup hasn't played.
Yeah.
Well, here's the number. CeeDee Lamb's got 28 receptions for 341 yards. Noah Brown's got 19 receptions for 279 yards.
Yeah.
Um, Gallup hadn't played, so he's got 6 catches. Schultz has got 9 catches. Pollard's got 7. Um, Elliott's got 5. Cooper Rush has 839 yards passing over basically 5 games, or no,
Yeah.
basically 4 games. Prescott was 14 of 29, so he played about 1 full game, I'm assuming. Cooper Rush has thrown 4 touchdowns in 4.5 games or so. Been sacked 7 times. They're running the ball, man.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
all they're doing.
Elliott and Pollard, they have total 125 carries and they've played 5 games. So 125 divided by 5. They're running the ball straight up to the running backs. Just to Pollard and Zeke, they're running the ball 25 times a game. CD Lamb, Cooper Rush is ticking off 9 times. So, 25 times a game they run the ball. So, what I want to see from the Eagles on that side of the ball is the big boy, Jordan Davis, man. First round pick. Like, I want to see him play more tonight. This is a team
We
that
need
he
to
can
talk
play
about
against.
his tape. Did you watch the tape on him in the Cardinals game?
Some of it.
Did
Did you watch Breaking the Birds?
no, I don't think so.
What?
I usually I'm just like I'll scroll through different Eagles fan pages and things like that, and guys will put together tape. But go watch the full, like, I don't know, it really probably shouldn't matter. But go watch the full tape of Jordan Davis in the Cardinals game. Like, dude is manhandling guards when he gets put one on one. Cardinals went one on one a lot with him, and like literally there were plays where he would kind of like lock out, like they call it, like they say he'll lock out, find the ball, and he literally just locks out. And there's literally times where the guys get like their knees buckle to the ground. He's just like holding them, and he just like throws them to the side, and it, it's pretty incredible, man. Watching the tape of him, he's improving each week. I'm assuming his cardio is getting better and better, and he's got that motor, man. The hustle. Like there's a play where he kind of like he won his block, but it was like an outside run, and he literally like takes the angle, and the guy cuts back, and he just mauls the running back like 8 yards down the field. So he's running, he ran 15, 20 yards to get this guy. So yeah, watch that tape. It's impressive, man. It gives you more and more confidence in him. But yeah, he's got to play a lot this game. We need him in the middle. I don't care if we run 3 defense tackles. You know what I mean? Like we need him in the middle. Um, but yeah, that should be. CD Lamb's also a little banged up, which doesn't help them. But they're not throwing the ball, man. Like I think his Cooper Rush first week. I was talking to our friend Jeremy, who's a Cowboys fan, about it, and I think he threw the ball like 16 times in week 2 or something like that. So they're not throwing the ball. It'll gradually get better, as Cooper Rush gains more confidence and learns the offense more. But they obviously don't have a lot of confidence in him throwing the ball or putting the ball in his hands. He has made some good throws. I've seen some really good throws that he placed it perfectly. Timing was great, but consistency is going to be his thing. So let's just force him to throw the ball. Let's stop the run. Like we talked about, Pollard is more of a change of pace guy. Zeke's, I'm not going to say he's washed, but he's definitely not in his prime anymore. But that being said, if we take him lightly, he can gouge us for 100 and some yards.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
want to see.
if we get beat by their running game, I don't expect that.
No, I don't either, but we could. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah, I mean,
But
if the coaches are on their P's and Q's, man, it's like stop the run
yeah,
and run the ball to mitigate Parsons. Because like
right.
you said, that's the one thing that can really flip the game. If he gets a turnover and gives them phenomenal field position once or twice early
Right.
in the game, they get some momentum, they start to believe. A game's only 60 minutes. So it's only 60 minutes. So you pump some belief into them, you make a big mistake like that, it could change the outcome, change the
Yeah,
flow of the game.
for sure.
So, well, we're right at 42, well, about 40 minutes. So, any final thoughts?
No, man, I think we covered most of the stuff. For Eagles fans, go watch the Jordan Davis tape last week. It's pretty good stuff, man. It's really promising and exciting to watch. Um, and I think Son Reddick is getting better and better each week. I think he's really coming in. I mean, he's got forward this year. He had 24 sacks in 2 years. Dude can play. He's got 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. And he's got like 17 QB knockdowns or hurries. So very similar stat line to Parsons. Parsons is a little bit better statistically, but he's also played more rush snaps. I think like 25 to 30 more rush snaps. So yeah, I'm excited about it, man. I love our depth, but on the D line, I think we need to rotate guys. But yeah, Jordan Davis has got to play as much as we can keep him in there.
Yeah, so I think Jordan Davis and final note for me would be in regards to the defense side of the ball. Jordan Davis, yeah, and TJ Edwards. This could be a big game for TJ Edwards because this is really where that's where he's most gifted, I think, is in the box, stopping the run, read and react. People questioned his pass coverage ability. He's been pretty good in pass coverage. He's been pretty damn good in that department. He's played at a pretty high level. But stopping the run, he's been able to do that for a couple of years. We know he can stop the run. So I'm looking for those two to play an integral part. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man.
Yeah.
Guys, let us know what you think. If you're an Eagles fan, what's your biggest concern? Or maybe outside of Micah Parsons, do you have another concern that you think is legitimate? Let us know. Put some comments below. We appreciate the feedback. This is the Bird Brothers. You can follow us on Instagram as well. I believe it is the.birdbrothers.
Yep.
At the.birdbrothers on Instagram. Two brothers in Ohio, lifelong Eagles fans. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.